to suck. It is bad. It's not for me. My literal nightmare. Dumb as a box of rocks. Who wants the smell of balls with their donuts? I don't get it. Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes, and I am not in a great mood at all. Not thrilled to be here. Not thrilled with life in general at the moment. And so obviously it's a great time to film my worst books of the year where I complain about everything. Interesting mix. You might be surprised, but this list includes a range from DNF'd to 1 star to 5 star books. And you might be like, a 5-star book can't be a worst book of the year. Well, it's an honorable mention. So stay tuned. We're kind of just going in chronological order-ish. All right, the first one is Taken by a Sinner by Michelle Heard. I don't know what I wrote. This is a mafia romance, right? It's a mafia romance, and she has anxiety, PTSD, trauma, lots of trauma, and he has rage issues. And also, he's going to trigger her anxiety and PTSD quite a bit, frequently, if you will. But don't worry, she's gonna fall in love with him, and she's gonna be cured by the power of love. Anxiety, we don't know her anymore. PTSD, nah, I'm safe with him, the person who is actively triggering it, and doesn't care because he likes the look of me scared. It works for him. It does things for him. I would argue that this is not the worst thing in the world to have as a kink. It's not the worst thing in the world, especially, I feel like, you know, for a paranormal romance or whatever. But if you are going to write your main character as actively having anxiety and PTSD and being triggered, and like being triggered by the hero like the very first time that they meet, and just all sorts of stuff like this, if you are going to write her as having these issues, I don't think that you can also write the hero as being really into these issues and it being a turn on for him. And then on top of that, write that she doesn't have these issues anymore because of the power of love. I just think that's a problem. I do. So next is A Big Surprise for Valentine's Day, which is Holiday with the Wongs #4 by Jackie Lau. This is my least favorite of the series. It still wasn't terrible, but in one sentence I can tell you why this book is on this list. She eats a donut off of his dick, and I just can't deal. I can't deal. I don't even like food with sex in general. It icks me out. It doesn't work for me. And I know that lots of people do. That's fine. But a donut off the dick? That is where we have evolved. I understand a little whipped cream. I understand that. I'm not into it, but I understand it. Dipping strawberries in juices, that icks me out. It does. Putting chocolate syrup, I'm gonna gross myself out, but putting chocolate syrup in places doesn't work for me. A whole donut? Like a dick donut holder? I don't understand what we're doing. Who wants the smell of balls with their donuts? I don't get it. One could argue that he was very clean. I would hope so. But even, I mean, is that what you want your dishes smelling like? No. Next I have Velvet, which is The Princess and the Spy #1 by Lizette Marshall. This I gave 3 stars, and then I DNF'd book 2 and I DNF'd book 3. Here's the thing. You don't have to read these books to understand the plot of the entire trilogy. You don't. I know for sure, for facts, that I knew what happened, all of what happened in books 2 and 3 based on the first couple chapters that I read. And you know what? Here's the thing. Here's my issue. Don't write plot if you can't do it. If that's not your strength, if you're not good at it, don't write that type of romance. Do you know how many romance books you can write without having to have court intrigue and like political machinations and plot happening behind the scenes with spy masters and princesses and queens and assassins and, you know, just being smarter than everybody else? You can't write a smarter than everybody else character if your character is actually dumb as a box of rocks and deserves to be assassinated at any point. Because what do you mean you just trust people and just accept people to, you know that they have issues with you, you know that they have conflict of interest, and you're like, it'll probably be fine. No, it won't. That's how you die. Royals die. You are in a struggle for political power. Again, it's okay if that's not your strength. It's okay if you are not good at writing that. That's totally fine. But then don't write it so badly that is almost laughable. A caricature of a plot, if you will. It's like if a 8-year-old was regurgitating the plot lines of their favorite movies and shows into a story. You are a full-on adult. You are writing fantasy romance. You don't have to write political plot in fantasy romance. You can have the setting and the vibes of fantasy, and she can be a princess and he can be a spy master, and you don't really have to write any political plot. But if you're going to write political plot, if you're going to write court power struggles, be good at it. Don't write spy masters and princesses who make no sense because they really should not be running the country, because they are not in fact smarter than everybody else. They are not smarter than the scullery maid that is trying to take them out. The fact that they survive is a miracle, and I blame the author because there's no logical reason for them to be okay. Next, I have For Never by Aurora Rose Reynolds. This is fake dating with your boss at the family reunion. An introvert, mind you, at the family reunion where the boss man, he's not even present for all of the family activities. He is playing hooky. He is using her as a distraction from the fact that he has to work through the family reunion. So he is holed up in their bedroom working the entire time. And she is over there socializing with the family that she doesn't even know for days and days and days on end. The chances of me falling in love with you during this time are zero. Zilch. Nada. I am literally never going to forgive you for doing this to me. And I am so serious when I say that I cannot think of a less sexy activity than forcing me to socialize with your family while you don't. To pretend to be your fiance. I've known you for a week. I mean, truly, emotionally, I am never going to come around to you. Never, ever. My literal nightmare, a horror story disguised as a romance. Next, I have Alpha Inmate by Liliana Carlisle. This is my first 1 star. For Never was 2 stars, by the way. My first 1 star. This is Omegaverse. This is really bad. It's really bad on so many different levels. But number 1, the alpha is incarcerated in a luxury psych ward prison thingamabobber because he killed people who raped his sister. All right, I'm on board with you so far. Doing the Lord's work. She is his criminal psychologist. Also, she's an Omega. Also, she's lying about that. Also, the beta aide leaves her to get raped, and the only reason she doesn't get raped is because the alpha's not trying to rape her. Also, he like hunts her down and like plays with her and like mind manipulates her. All of this, while bad, I can excuse. I can excuse. Okay, we're having a dark Omegaverse romance. I can accept the unacceptable. What I cannot accept is her inner Omega voice, which sounds like Gollum from The Lord of the Rings. Alpha protects us. If that is not Gollum and Frodo Baggins and Sam, my husband's gonna kill me. I forget his name. Yeah, I forget his last name. If that's not that scene where Sam is like attacking Gollum and Frodo's like, no, you don't get to attack him. And then Gollum's like, Master will save us and stuff. I just literally cannot fathom what she was thinking. Now, I understand that she, the author, was probably not thinking Gollum when she was writing this inner Omega voice, but it's like a weird childlike voice thing. Is biology and fated mates and is attracted to the alpha, and it's like and then her mind is like screaming no, he's an actual criminal lunatic, and her inner Omega is like, Alpha will protect us, Alpha will take care of us, Alpha. The weird, cringy, high, childlike voice. Not for me. It's not for me. Next, I have Goal by Alexandria House. I love many books by this author. I also kind of despise a few books by this author. Some people will argue with you that this book is real love, that it is realistic conflicts that real relationships have, and that is the strength of Alexandria House's writing, these messy, messed up, kind of disturbing romances. And I would argue that you can be wrong and valid at the same time. Okay, you can be wrong and valid at the same time. I'm not going to accept it as fact. I'm not going to pretend like you are correct, because you're not. But your feelings are your own. Give that book 5 stars. More power to you. I, on the other hand, DNF'd this so hard and cannot begin to tell you how irrationally angry this book makes me. Number 1, I spent $1.50 on this book. You might be like, that is cheap, and you're right. This book normally retails for $8.50 for an ebook. $8.50. This book is not even 200 pages, I don't think. I will fact check myself while editing. It's not worth it. It wasn't worth the $1.50. It wasn't. It is not. It is bad. It is bad. Am I supposed to be rooting for this man? Because I'm not. Mistakes were made. All right, prologue. I'm into it. I feel so much empathy for this man. He's basically shipped back to his mother by his father because his father's new white wife is pregnant and she doesn't want his teenage son around. She wants her own little family. I feel for him. Empathy. He gets into hockey as a way to cope. Great. On board. Then we come to present day and things rapidly fall apart. From page 1, he has a fiance that he doesn't love, isn't really into, and is just with. His father dies. Apparently the mother was already dead, and he leaves 2 younger siblings. He only knew about the pregnancy of 1. 2 younger siblings to him. These children are traumatized. They have found the dead body of their father. They have been put in foster care. They are being sent to live with a brother that they have never met. And this man feels like it is important to be there for them, to give them family, to not leave them in foster care. Good. I understand that that is a sacrifice and not something that everyone is able or willing to do. Fiance is not on. The fiance is like, absolutely not. I can't believe that you would do this. This is just temporary. I'm going to hire a nanny that you're not attracted to. I'm going to try to seduce you a lot. I'm going to wonder when you're sending these kids back. I didn't sign up for this. Has maybe not even a single on-page word with these children. No interactions whatsoever. This is fine in some senses. In another sense, if you are ready and willing to build a life with somebody, like, this is a deal breaker. He doesn't view it that way. He understands. Why would she want these kids? He's making life harder for her. He feels bad about it. Also, the kids need a lot of support. Is he going to support those children? Financially, yes. Emotionally, no. No, he's not. He's not going to spend any time with those kids either. What he is going to do is be very attracted to their nanny, who is actually giving those children the support that they need. He is going to be very attracted to the nanny, to the point where that's all he can think about. That's all he can think about. Is he thinking about those children? No. Is he thinking about their trauma? No. Is he thinking about their emotional needs? No. He's thinking about the nanny. He's thinking about fucking the nanny. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. The fiance is also concerned about him fucking the nanny, which is why she hired a fat nanny, which is supremely unfuckable. Everybody knows that. Not him, though. Not him. He sure is a whole lot more concerned about the emotional and financial support of the nanny than he is of the children who need him quite a bit more. This is not the time to be starting a relationship. I will die on this hill. These two should not be doing what they're doing. They should be actually focused on doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is taking care of these kids. Now, I'm a parent. I'm a wife. I'm perfectly capable of maintaining a romantic relationship while also being a parent. However, they just got these kids. They just met. All of this is happening at one time, and you cannot actually do what you should be doing on all of these different fronts at the same time. And he's not. He's not even trying. He's not even trying to be there for it. I can't. You cannot write the trauma of these children and then just shoehorn them into school and schedules and going off with the nanny when you fight with your fiance. I cannot deal. And these kids have a lot of trauma. They have a lot of trauma. They have on-page issues. Are they addressing that? No. He wants to sleep with the nanny. That is his number one. Oh, also, the nanny is a virgin and has saved herself for a good man and is going to decide that is her new boss, who just got out of a relationship, who has a lot going on, but wants to sleep with her. No. Next is Love Burns Bright, which is Fatal Fidelity number 3 by Rian Gray. This is another DNF. This is a non-binary assassin and the woman who hires them to kill her husband. This is book 3. We've been doing murdery shenanigans. Arguably, she is a liability. She's not good at it. She doesn't know what she's doing. She keeps getting in the way, and also is a bargaining chip for those who would like to shoot them instead. She should be far away from the murdery stuff because she's not a professional assassin, ex-military killer. She's not. She doesn't know what she's doing. They, on the other hand, are very skilled, a professional on multiple levels, but they're in love. They're in love. They just want to bring their girlfriend to the kill sites. They just want to be seen actively having a romantic relationship with the woman whose husband they are killing. They're in love. They can't help themselves. This girl is all they can think about. And if that means death, if that means botching the job, if that means that they all go down in a flame of glory, well, it was for love. All right, so I already have this issue through book 2. Then book 3. They go home to her family. And we spend chapters with her just feeling so bad that she's lying to her family about them being an assassin and just calling them security management. She feels really bad that she's lying about what they actually do. She feels like this is a breach of trust. Girlie, you are an accomplice in more than one murder at this point. You cannot go around telling your family and friends that they kill people for a living and that you are helping them. This is not something to feel bad about. This is not a moral dilemma. This is not a breach of trust. If you are going to kill people, be good at it. And if you can't be good at it, at least keep your mouth shut. Don't tell people that you're an accomplice to murder. Don't tell people that you're helping them kill people. Don't tell people that they are an actual assassin for hire. Leave it at they're in security. Leave it at that. How many people actually understand the workings, the inner workings of someone else's job? Most of us don't. I kind of know what you do for a living, but I don't really know. If you tell me you're in security, I don't need to know more than that. I don't even know you. You're my cousin's significant other. I don't need to know. But no. This is truly an emotional problem for her because she feels the need to be honest with people that she has not seen in the last 10 years. She's been lying about her abusive husband, but she draws the line. She draws the line at not full-on confessing in blatant graphic detail to the murders that she is an accomplice of. Shut up. Another DNF, That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human by Kimberly Lemming. I love mean mishaps. I do. Why is your writing getting worse? That's my question. Why is your character annoying from page 1? Why are they truly too dumb to live? Why are they actively trying to die by going out in the snow, by getting eaten by monsters? all so they don't have to time with a very nice dragon who rescued them today. It hasn't even been a day. And then my other 1-star, which I just read, my only other 1-star for the year, I believe, is Dirty Intentions by Aubrey Bondurant. This is a Christmas, there is no Christmas, it just takes place over Christmas, sex club romance. And this man is 32 years old and owns a sex club. You're getting a massive rant about this in a vlog, so I'm not going to belabor the point too much in this video. But he is 32 years old. He owns a sex club. He has owned a sex club for 10 years. At the beginning of those 10 years, when he was 22 years old, he went on 2 dates with a girl, had sex with her 1 time. She got really clingy and thought they were falling in love and said that he led her on, which is not reasonable for 2 dates. Told his mother that he owns a sex club. His mother disowned him because she was a conservative Christian, which could not have come as a surprise to him. And he, in the last 10 years, has not kissed a woman on the mouth, has not dated, has not done anything other than casual hookups in the sex club, doing scenes in public because he doesn't want to lead anybody on. Now I ask you, is that a rational response? Is that an appropriate reaction to going on 2 dates with a girl and her getting a little clingy and arguably ruining your relationship with your mother? But if she was going to disown you for that, was it good in the first place? Was it? Now he's 32 and he just can't get enough of this redhead. Like he just can't get enough. But he doesn't date, so he is going to be the worst every other page. He is going to pick fights with her. He's going to throw up walls. He's going to be an emotionally distraught toddler. But they are going to have sex. And since the sex is good, she can live with everything else. Who cares that he is intolerable? Who cares that he has no redeeming qualities? Who cares that he is maybe emotionally immature? Who cares that he is stuck on 2 dates that happened 10 years ago when he was 22 years old? She can handle it. So happily ever after. And lastly, an honorable mention goes to the Blood Grace series by Vela Roth. Now, I read 4 of these books back to back. They are ridiculously long. Also, I gave them all 5 stars. So you might really have a leg to stand on when you argue that they do not belong in my worst of the year video. Do you know how many thousands of pages I read in these 4 books? Do you know how little happens? Do you know how little happens by the end of book 7, which I read the synopsis for? Do you know what small increment of progress we have made from the end of book 4 to the end of book 7? Also, these are vampires, but they are the best, most perfect, they can't do harm against anyone, vampires you have ever met in your life. And I swear to God, the thought of picking up book number 5 and reading 1 more page of their flowery, ridiculous, I am perfection dialogue. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of my religious trauma. When I was a kid, my parents read out loud to me the Elsie Dinsmore series. And you probably have never heard of this series, and I'm happy for you. This series follows a young child. I believe she's 6 or 8 when we start following her. And she is the perfect child. Her father is not a Christian, and through her faith and her refusal to read him a book that's not the Bible on Sunday, him disowning her, him leaving her, his literal child, because she will obey, her catching a fever and almost dying, him coming to Christ through her testimony. I don't know where I was at the beginning of this sentence, but so all of that happens. She's perfect, and she brings her father to Christ, right? She continues to grow. She never disobeys him. She never does anything wrong. She continues to grow. She grows into a young woman. She falls in love, but her father forbids her. Father forbids her from the relationship. She is in love, but she obeys her father. And she stops talking to this man. And then they are in a carriage, and they see him drunk, the worst thing that you can possibly be, with a prostitute, talking about how he's just using her for her money. She's deeply affected by this and goes on to marry her father's best friend, who has been an adult and who has been in her life the entire time since book 1. The tightness I get in my stomach just thinking about this. We read this series out loud as a family for years. And I was always just like, she's too good. I don't like it. I don't like how good she is. It's boring and weird and unrelatable. That's what these vampires make me think of. Okay? Again, 4 books, 5 stars, back to back to back. I have a reading blog where you can watch me read it. But the thought of reading another page, even though I would probably like it, fills me with existential dread. If you're gonna write a vampire, okay, listen, I know what she was doing a thing. I know she was doing a thing. But I guess truly the religious trauma in me can't do it. Don't write perfect characters. They need to do something wrong. Kill people in the streets, okay? Give me a little morally gray. If you're not gonna kill people in the streets, at least punch somebody in the face. Or at least do something. Get in a fight. Do something. So that's it. Those are my worst books of the year. I don't feel better. I don't feel better. I feel really irritated, actually. And annoyed. So I hope you were entertained by my pain. Because, oh man. These were... They were something. I did read close to 200 books at this point. So I mean, and I DNF'd over 100 more. So these are the worst out of like 300 books. So it sucks to suck. Okay, it sucks to suck. And these books suck. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.